We've had our invoices, $130,210.85. We have a motion to send this to full council for payment.
I make a motion to send to full council for payment $130,210.85.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Drop down new business, and let me explain one other thing. We'll cover new business, and then we'll have a little bit from the clerk, because the end of the month also is their way. Today's just the 3rd, but she does have a few items for us. Then we'll look at several things that will be on the 17th, and I'll mention one right now, though, just to clarify, because many people are probably wondering where the municipal fee for second reading. That'll be on the 17th. We had our first reading last time. We sent it from finance to full council and passed on the first reading, but there is a time frame involved in advertising. And we didn't make that, we needed longer to do that to meet state codes, so it'll be on the next meeting on June the 17th. So if you're hearing rumors, and since it's not on the agenda that we're somehow skirting the second reading, no, that's accurate. It's just, you got to allow time for legal advertisement. So that'll be on the next time, but it's not here this time. So we'll start with new business. And you see a note there, the town of Clendenin to reimburse them for $11,516 for Officer Kendall. And I'll explain just a moment about it and have the chief to speak to it as well. But it's a good thing. We're getting an officer, but the reason there's money involved in it, for a number of years, we were fleeced out here. The joke was we paid for the academy for the rest of the county. We'd hire them to go to academy and go somewhere else, and we lost all that money. So we have a new policy that you have to stay 2 years, 2 years after academy for one of our guys. And we just had a person start an academy, halfway through academy, look for another job, and South Charleston hired them. And if you were here in all the finance meetings, you know that for the first time, to leave our memory, we pursued it, and we want to thank the mayor and the chief of police. They were the ones that pursued it. We supported it. They're the ones that did the legwork to pursue to South Charleston and say, okay, if you're going to take him right out of academy, here's what we've got in. So they reimbursed us, and for us it was $16,000. So it's a change. And so this is a situation as well. This officer's been with Clendenin, but he just finished academy and he tested here. So to be honorable and to be fair, we're doing the same thing back to them. They had 11,000 and something in his academy and all those expenses. And I think the mayor will be here, right? Council meeting, she'll be here to receive the check. And so hopefully this will help as well in the whole process of keeping things above board versus just stealing away like it's been in the past. It's a benefit to us to get a new officer, but we're trying to be honorable to them like we would like people to be honorable to us. So, Chief, anything you need to add about this in finance? I know the mayor's going to make a presentation in full council.
No, I'll speak to Officer Kendall.
So that's what this is. This is reimbursing because he went to academy under Clendenin. So it's reimbursing them for the expenses. But it's a benefit to us because usually when we hire somebody, they have to wait till the next class to start, and it's 16 weeks at academy, and so he's already done and certified, so it's a benefit to us. But that's the total, 11,516. You've got your paperwork to verify that. Any questions though from anybody?
Just so everybody knows, you're going to meet Chris tonight. Chris is a Dunbar boy. He was in the reserve program, and we were doing hiring at the time. He wanted a couple police officers who could think. But once this opening come out, he was dying to come back. So it's going to be nice to have him back here, back in Dunbar where he wants to be anyway. So
That's what I was going to say. So.
Hey, Chief, not good to finance. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, Mr. Chief.
He did start his nicely his career as a reserve. Like me.
You still need secretary, chief. Meeting.
Can I take my this remark off the floor, please?
Questions?
Just one question. Do we know what the difference is between why we only pay 11,000 and then we pay?
He has been with, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, but he had been with Clendenin for a while. He was already their employee, just never been to academy. The reason it was more for South Charleston to us, wanted to pay difference, but also we had just hired the other officer, and he'd already been training for, what, 2 months before
How
he was
much?
academy.
They paid us all his salary.
Yeah, so it had salary,
And
because that was training salary, it wasn't on the road.
I think one of the
That's
key
one of the
factors
differences.
was that we paid, our officers hospitalization at Clinton. He did not have hospitalization at Clinton, so South Charleston reimbursed us our total expense for the time that we hired him, prepping him for the academy and sending him through the academy, which included uniforms, everything, so that's.
and I think ours started like 3 or 4 weeks before the academy.
So we had some
too.
payroll here too.
So they paid back that too.
I just wanted,
Plus the hospitalization.
okay, thank you.
Questions? Any other council members have a question or comment on? And again, I thank the mayor and the chief for working on that, beginning that precedent a few months ago, because it's helped us already
That is
a
all.
lot. Could be.
Sorry. So now we have two going to the academy,
To, that went all the
We
way.
just let
right?
out.
So we just bought out.
3
Now
went in, South Charleston had 1,
Now we just
2
got this.
graduated at the same time Officer Kendall did.
So now how many more do we need
2 or
to
3.
be full staff? Seriously,
2 or 3.
2 or 3?
If you want 16.
You're supposed to have 16 plus you, I think. Is that correct, somebody?
What I
Okay,
always understood.
okay. So we need 3.
We have 3, we currently have a list with 3 names on it.
So is it retired or ready to be thrown out, or are we still?
Yeah,
hiring?
new
It's a
list.
new
Is
list.
it a new
No,
list?
Kendall was on that list.
Okay,
We still have 3 names on it.
okay. I just wondered. Thank you.
So you've got there $11,516 to the town of Clendenin for reimbursement. Do we have a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion that we, send to the town, the city of Clinton, expenses for $11,516 for reimbursement for, Officer Kendall.
Second.
Motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Then you see next, these were the deductibles we talked about that was already included in the 130,000, but there are three deductibles on our insurance for some lawsuits, and a total of $17,680.48. And you had your invoice to look at, but any questions about that for the mayor or Mr. Swisher?
I'm fine to go on.
I know, sir.
I don't get a penny of it.
I mean, if you had any question, you
I
could
think
answer
that's
for
weird.
us.
You didn't
Are we
know
here
this
to
next
finish?
question.
How's that?
No,
That's where, are we here finished? You know that.
one of them is finished,
One's finished.
but these 2 are still active. 2 of them on there are still active.
And they'll be long-term, aren't they?
Like 3 or 4 years.
I know
I just wondered.
We can't answer that, but
We did,
Well, it could be longer, I just think.
yep.
Any other questions? Again, it's, and due to the nature of it, anybody can ask to see the invoice as far as just the totals, but it does involve people's names and things, so we can't release that. Okay, we'll discuss, did you have a question, Jim?
No.
Okay. We have a motion then to approve this payment as One Beacon Insurance Company. It's our deductible for these cases totaling $17,680.48.
I make a motion to send a full council for One Beacon Insurance with a deductible of 3 lawsuits and amount $17,680.48.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign.
if I could, for the record, our insurance policy has a $25,000 limit on our deductible. So at some point, we could potentially have up to $25,000 each one of these cases. And that was the main reason last year that we had several ongoing litigations, that we increased the amount of money in the insurance line item to make sure that we didn't go over budget, knowing that we had this contingent liability floating out there.
Thank you. That can add up fast, even though there's 25,000 cameras. The next one, you see approval for new computer in the clerk's office. The total is $1,367.38 from CCS.
Actually, there's a typo, it's CSS.
CSSI. Yeah, you had the invoice to look at, shows the software and different things on it. I talked to the clerk today. This is replacing, they have 4 or 5.
We have 5 in there.
5
This
computers.
is replacing the laptop that was bought back in '09. Our accountant requested it.
Are all our programs running on Windows 10 now, or do we
We
use
don't run any.
QuickBooks or what kind of program
We use the CSL program,
they use your program? So does that have to operate on Windows 10?
probably.
I know it's,
I really couldn't answer that.
I know we're going to do that about a couple of computers, but it wouldn't-
Yeah, this one
wouldn't
was,
take it.
this was getting up to its max, and it was running very, very, very slow. So he asked the mayor and I for a new computer.
So this is the one that you threw a bill in?
No,
Okay. That's another one.
So can you do anything with the old one, like pass it down to somebody else, or is it just trash and all?
he still wants to hang on to it because it's got a lot of stuff on it. We didn't download everything. We're not gonna download everything into the new one yet.
Plus
So there's a lot of stuff on there that the apps.
Yeah, there's things on there we don't want to just pass that on.
Well,
Right,
I just didn't know after it was done, it could be cleaned up and
right.
repurposed somewhere else. Like there are ways of doing it, let's be how.
Oh, yeah, but there again, there's some files staging.
And we may need to, of course, it was all downloaded whenever that all happened.
Maybe it was, maybe it
It's probably safer letting that one not pass somewhere else.
wasn't. Until it's been totally white. Leach fitted.
We've got the invoice for $1,367.38 to CSSI.
I make a motion that we approve $1,367.38 for the computer for the clerk's office.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And item D, the next two come from the Parks and Rec Committee, so we'll ask Jim Hughes on this, but there's a promotional video for the Dunbar Parks, $1,500 to Dunbar Printing. And again, it comes recommended by Parks and Recs. So Jim, you want to speak to that?
We've had a couple of meetings, and we approved this in our Parks Recreation meeting a few weeks back. Parks Recreation Department are trying to put something together to let people see what our parks are when they come to Dunbar, especially with all the visitors and stuff. Met with Joanne and Dunbar Printing and the guy that did our official website, put together Mark, about putting a little video together. And we wondered how we were gonna show all the parks in a quick thing, and this is where a few things. We're gonna start out with disc golf, and that's why I like Chief Moss out there with his disc golf players. And he starts out throwing a frisbee with a disc golf thing, starts with a wine cellar, and goes from wine cellar to the city park. Says, well, it shows you different pictures of like kids on the park, kids that are in a wine cellar, goes on over to down to the landing. That hopefully will be cleaned up before then, and the Skirmill Park out there. Then we end up down at Shawnee Park down there also, a little bit of music and stuff. There's some businesses and things are going to be through there, but every picture frame real quick is going to, like throw a disc golfer will be throwing his frisbee, and somebody will be catching it and things. It's a pretty cool idea, really, when you really think about it. It has a little bit of music to it, so. Some promo advertising we're trying to put together. This is just get the video rolling, and everybody put their heads together and approve it. But we can go out on our website, and then our other thing was to later on they have a kiosk that you can actually go push buttons on. They put a couple places around like down at Shawnee Park, or they want to find out more information about our parks and the history of them and things like that. It's just a start with some advertising to try to push. And do some more things for around here in Dunbar, sure people will have.
Any other questions for Jim or Bob? Jim from the Parks and Rec Committee. Again, if you went to the website, the ones that are up there now are very good quality.
This is the same gentleman that is going to do
Any other questions? Entertain a motion to approve this $1,500 to Dunbar Printing, excuse me, for the promotional video for Dunbar Parks.
I make a motion that we approve $1,500 to Dunbar Printing for the promotional video recommended by the Parks and Rec Committee to do grants.
In a section, in a second, any other discussion? In favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And then the next one is also for Parks and Rec, about the volleyball poles and the nets and things. Either Jen or Bob, either one can.
That probably space a little bit better. We spent the money on the floor, $3,600 to get the floors done. We had recessed pipes put down in the floor for volleyball nets, so we don't have to keep trying to spring them up. All they do is just drop down into a sleeve. Bubs had a lot of people wanting to play indoor volleyball, and he said if we did have the stuff set up, that there would be several teams, winter teams, and people that are wanting to start playing at our facility down there, bringing, keeping kids and adults and everybody else, keep from going all over South Charleston. Just
For years, we used to have, like, running up there, we used to have speakeasy singles on Sundays, they didn't want to come back and start using that. There is, like South Charleston Christian Academy that used the rec center, they were interested in, us having that. I have been looking online, every time I get on the computer, check my email, I try to go there before I go somewhere else. Trying to look at prices, trying to get the best thing, safety wise and all. Even with the, if we do have, if somebody needed it for an official game, like to have the judges, stay, sit there. If we're going to do, we put this much money into it, let's do it right.
Just one court above.
One, yes, one.
Just be an easy
So
setup,
you mark
easy
the
thing down there.
That four's already marked.
Any other questions to Bob or Jim Hughes about the volleyball setup? And again, South Charleston Academy, that would be in the fall, so it wouldn't interfere with any ball either. Small season.
Somewhat, just, but, still do it in the summertime. I mean, we can now promote it and try to get some.
Bubs, this nylon net or cotton net?
I'm still looking.
Please get a nylon net, because if you do a cotton net,
Oh, yeah.
it won't last that long. We wore one out down at church. Nylon was a lot better, even though it costs a little more money.
Yeah, I'm looking at different things. I'm looking at steel, looking at even the weight of the poles. You don't want to have something that's 50-some pounds of pole or 30-some pounds of pole to put in. Different kind of winches, kinds that'll hide that people can't get, even those that we've padded.
You better let Fletcher check it out. As tall as he is, as big as he is, no wonder going into a net. It'll be the Fletcher with that.
You've got the recommendation, and again, it's not to exceed 3,800 at Withers, since you're still looking to find out exactly which setup. So, recommendation to do the volleyball from not to exceed 3,800. So we have a motion for that.
I make a motion not to exceed $3,800 as recommended by the Parks and Rec for volleyball poles, nets, and referees team for the rec center.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And in just a moment, we'll have clerk share her report, a few that we have. Again, the month just ended, so there's not everything available, but she has a few. But I'll run down a couple things for our next meeting, which will be our last meeting in this fiscal year. At the next meeting, we would have our second reading on the municipal fee for us in finance, and then of course, second reading full council. Also would be the fire contract for their pay and police for their pay for the year. Negotiations committee is done with that. Also, if I forget something, Mayor, let me know, but also I think we're looking at on the agenda the pay raise for the non-union employees in the city. That would be on the agenda next time. And probably an invoice for the wine cellar bathrooms. And again, that's a grant, the money's there, but still, if possible, get that wound down before the end of the year. And then the clerk will have some budget adjustments for us.
Yes.
Because I think we have to we can't go over a budget, but there's internal things that need moved around to get everything balanced out. So the clerk will have our 2018-19 budget adjustments. And as I've already mentioned, they'll be on the item as well for approval of pay invoices through that Friday, the 28th. So we can finish everything up and not carry, because the point is, if you're not sure why we're doing that, anything that you don't find a way to pay for by June 28th, it's going to hurt everybody's budget next year. So we're trying to get everything paid at the end of the year so you can start with a clean slate. And then by then also Councilman Scipio, his ordinance committee should have a couple of recommendations for us as well on a couple of department heads. Going along that same pattern, the fire and police and not needing pay raises, a couple of ordinances for department heads as well. So anything else I've forgotten, it's year end that we'll need to get done.
I think we have it pretty well covered.
So we'll be very busy next meeting, but most of these things we've already worked through committees, talked about it. One of them, second reading. There's a lot there, but it shouldn't bog us down because it's stuff we're all familiar with. We're ready to go on and to finalize before we get to the end of the year. So. Yes, in fact, we should have a little more. We have to carry over 235.
I think that's what it was.
Right, we have to carry over at least 235.
We could be, it was in the twos, less than 3.
But we're on track. We're on track for
We're
that.
good.
We're on track. So, Clerk has given us a couple things. And again, thank you, Connie, for these. It's all come in last minute. We've got our United Bank listing of our accounts. And again, on this one, we do ask not only our committee, but any council members to be cautious with that. She blacks out the numbers as best possible. But, it does give you a balance of where we're at on each of our funds at the end of May. So you got that.
That was read today.
Any questions on the United Bank listing of our accounts and balances? And then Connie's given us, clerk has given us a report on our collections. So Connie, I'll let you go over that. We've got it, but I'll let her explain it.
Okay, from our municipal fee collections over, as you can see, April, they collected $6,745. In May, they collected $4,470.84. That was April, May. Now, we've been paying quarterly into the departments after that, so after this month, then I'll give that.
What's our total we've collected so far? Approximately.
I can say, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to throw something out.
I know this first few months were big months, but then I know they started slowing down a little.
Yeah, it's been, what now, a year and a half. We've used them. Data Max. We've got 2 in so far. And that was a total of $1,909.80, so that's a 50-50. So we're gonna get $954 of it, and then the rest will go into fireman's pension. But we'll do that probably on a quarterly basis too, so that way it'll be easier to keep track of it.
This part of but the Atkins Noble is winding down, but this one should just be heating up, right? Once they get
Yes.
started.
Yes, I mean, I got today, they sent me 2 other ones today, emailed me, but I haven't got any money from those people yet. So far they've found 4 so far that I know of.
And just for everybody, a reminder, the Atkins and Ogle, part of that went to the firemen because there was a formula there. The first 300 stayed with the city because that's meeting this year's payment. But anything past this year, so they didn't get all of it, but they got a large portion, and we're up to 29. It's in our other report, right at 29,000 plus this. But the Datamax part, as it comes in, Datamax gets 50%, but our 50%, 100% of that 50% goes into the fireman's fund. That was our agreement. So that's just starting, but that'll all go in there as well, 100% of that. So.
We mailed out 1,136 business, rental, and contract license last week. So they're starting now to come in, so that'll catch up. If you look at the revenues, that'll catch up in month of June, plus the license due July 1. And then we mailed out 523 delinquent people that are delinquent still on the municipal bills Friday. So, and that's went down. We used to mail out almost 700. So that's went down. Debbie really works those accounts And she's been working them all now again before she turns it over. We had to turn in 300 over to, so we're trying to get collected ourselves. So Debbie's been very good about that. She's had a lot of experience in that, so that's a plus. Of course, you know, give you the bank balances, and then also give you the treasurers, what's in all of our, funds at the state.
Glad to see that we all just got these and, you know, kind of, the month just ended, the first one, there's a gain of 12,000, roughly 12,000, does that sound right? About 12,000 gain in that one. And then a couple others haven't changed other than interest, because they don't always get regular contributions. But we gained a little interest in short term, I forgot what the second was for, the one that's at the.
There's two of them.
4 to 6.
4 of 6,
Yes.
that was our CD that we took out of, United and invested with the state. And the other one is the CD we took out of Kimba and invested with the state.
And then your
Last
last
one's
page.
our fireman's
Fireman's.
pension fund. And the first one is our money that people pay online. Very little thing.
You've got your statement of accounts.
So that's sort of our general fund.
Any questions for the clerk on that, as far as either the collections report or the statement of accounts for the difference? And these are monies invested with the state of West Virginia. Anything else you have for us? Well, again, it's June the 3rd, so it's very difficult to have more than this, but anything else you have for us?
No, that's all I have.
Okay. Mayor, I have a question. We go on. Is everything in line as much as can be June the 3rd in line with their Taylor and things to start the new system, which I don't want to close the older accounts and start paying the retirees?
Now, we're to that point, yes, we do. It's, whether it's July 1 or August 1, we'll make any the important thing is not adding another employee into which that's not.
Well, you've already closed it, so much.
Yes, by council, but we haven't closed it with the state, by filling out the forms.
Well, that's open to the other, we got a resolution to open the one with the state.
So we just need to make sure that's in line, so we can have all that set up, so we don't start at 107% for next year also.
Yeah, we got to open, we got to do all that. We got to do the resolution.
Okay. Will that be one reading or 2 readings? Resolution.
One, should be the president resolution.
And Mayor's taking notes, but as soon as he's done, we'll let him share anything he's got related to finance, but anything else that the other members have related to finance?
Hopefully, we'll have an invoice to be paid the 17th. Now that I recognize now West Virginia paving has come in and they started the milling today. Over on the corner of 13th and Ohio, they found something that was kind of disturbing underneath the asphalt. So
Somebody or something.
found something that was disturbing. Scott and Ernie's crews are going to be out there first thing in the morning and us do some of the pavement. If there's an indication there may be some kind of void underneath of it. So they're going to go ahead and open that up tomorrow and see what the extent and nature of it is. So we can go ahead and get it filled in with stone, and get some concrete in it, so while they're doing paving, they can come in behind, but they're going to work around that while we do that. So the bad thing is we're diverting people from other projects in order to deal with this, so we keep paving moving along, get things done. I think Scott's had
has 3, maybe 4 people off right now, 3 with some medical issues and 1 on vacation. So, they're kind of short-staffed, some people get pulled and go off the grass crew and other things to pick up garbage, so, it's kind of a struggle, but I think it's all together. There's just a lot going on, a lot of things happening. We've had a lot of volunteers come out, and we'll talk about it in council, that have kind of taken it upon themselves to start cleaning up the park down there, Dunbar, the parking lot, Dunbar Avenue, some of the other parks, and doing some weeding around the bus stops and stuff. Matt, Sierra, Sharon, Richard, Jean Ann, Becky McCormick, Jim, Sherry, and several others. So, I mean, to me, that's very uplifting to see people start investing their time and efforts in the city to make the city look good instead of waiting for somebody else. Maybe it'll be a positive thing that will start growing and growing and growing. Have more and more people out there joining this army and taking charge of things.
We covered everything on the agenda related to finance for a city. So without anything else, we entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you all.
We know about the